a DIY walkway that anyone can do. So I had a big piece of land in the back of my garden. You can see a before and after right now, and I was able to put down a nice concrete base with a mixture of different items. So today's goal is going to be to get this put down in my small homestead in part of my small city house project. So you'll see I've got a bit of barren, empty wasteland in the back of the house right to the end, and in this episode I'm going to begin by basically leveling off this ramp. There's a good 2 foot between the lower section and the upper section, so I thought about steps, but that wasn't the best idea. I had a lot of broken slabs in the local area because they were being held down on the big area by plastic sheets with these broken slabs. So rather than get all of this rubble and throw it away or send it off for breaking up, I was able to use this to actually create a path. So this path is at the top of the garden, and I've actually got old vintage bricks that I can use as well as part of this process to create urban concrete paved ramp. It needs to be strong enough to be able to get a wheelbarrow up. So in the top corner, if you're following along on the series, you've seen I've made garden beds, I've made compost area, and I'm going to be making some extra cooking areas, like a barbecue maybe, potentially outside gazebo. So stay tuned for that outdoor kitchen episode later down the line. But so far I'm able to lay down these bricks and slabs in like a interlocking way. You can see here it's got plastic sheet on the bottom, and I'm basically gonna be creating it so that we don't have any weeds growing through. I have got some different types of weeds that grow in the garden that I don't really like, so I'm putting down plastic and then putting through sand with ballast, which is small bricks that will stop the blocks moving about, and I'm brushing that in to lock all these into place. So you will see this process is a slow idea because I'm actually over the next 3 to 4 months I'm slowly making this area a lot of a homestead, a garden area, a growing space, and I'm going to be having some livestock stock as well potentially, so that's in the cards. So stay tuned to see how that works out. And you can see that this is going to be a main route into this back area. I want it to be separate to the main lawn area of the garden, so we've still got an area where it's like a lawn garden, a traditional UK garden, but then up here obviously this can be a separate section. You'll see here I've done some, and slowly I've got bigger bits up here, but I don't think the big bits look as good, so I might break those broken bits down to make the smaller ones. Also on this side we've already got cement, like a ridge, and then underneath there's some paving, so all of that needs to be cleaned up and put into the compost, which will be at some point I'll put in the compost back there. But for now the plan is to use these bricks to create like a point to hold all this crazy paving in. So I'll cement where the woods are, cement down blocks just to stop the kind of walkway, so it's like continuous, and we've got the pear tree in the middle, and then the plan is to go crazy paving around the pear tree like that, like a small route each way, and then comes together again back here, and then towards whatever's going to be back here, either the greenhouse in that corner or like a little outbuilding or something with all the bricks I've got. In terms of beds, I've got one bed there. This bed, I'm feeling like I can make this a little bit bigger. I'm using the blocks that I've got 2 more blocks. I want to make that a little bit longer. This one I made short to leave walkway to get into the roses, to be able to weed and water. And of course in the back we've got like a climbing section of all the way along, and I feel like that bed can be a bit longer, but I'll see how that works when I put the wall, the brick retainer in there. And the next there'll be space there, and there'll be another bed here. Again, that can be probably long. I might use the bricks for that one. There'll be another gap, there'll be another bed, so we'll have 4 beds in total, and then maybe 2 composts there, and I haven't decided yet. I might make a big L shape here or something, I don't know. But in the current climate I'm finding myself enjoying food that I'm growing because it tastes a lot better than store-bought stuff. I don't know if there's been a shift in like how they grow food and stuff commercially, but carrots don't taste as nice, strawberries aren't as juicy, and peas are like a bit dry. They're not really amazing. So now I've grown some of this stuff in the garden and I've tasted the difference. I'm like, wow, okay, there's a big difference of growing your own. So it's not only being self-sufficient, it's more a case of being able to get the full nutrients from the stuff you're eating and not being watered down, as it were, or being made out of season. So there will be limitations where I can only eat stuff that I grow in season. But yeah, as part of that journey, I'm bringing you along with me. So I appreciate you being here. And I'm also enjoying making these episodes and kind of keeping a diary for myself, because I can look back at where we started. You'll see here I'm using the paving blocks. So I've got some extra paving blocks here, and I'm using those to lock in the slabs, the crazy paving, I'm going to call it. So it actually stops it from moving around. And I've got quite a few of them, to be honest. So they look a little bit nice because it's checkered across, and it gives it that element of like, what's the word? Whimsical. So it's always nice to have this growing and keeping this in place, because I've got the tree there. I've got a lot of stuff that's coming into position, and over the time the plastic sheet on the bottom will stop the weeds coming through. I've got a barrier, and it's always nice idea to sift sand or anything you're using to fill up the gaps, so you don't end up putting any roots in there or any seeds. And if you have that gaps in between those broken slabs nicely covered, I'm brushing them in here, you can see, and that allows it to seal up basically, so the slabs will interlock into each other, the sand will keep it in space. And then I slowly started expanding this out. I wanted to create a little curve to make it like a yellow brick road, Wizard of Oz kind of feeling. So you can see here I'm creating that curve. I'm putting some more plastic down in the upper section, and you can see now we've got 3 beds in place. So as I was saying, I was making the beds and this paving at the same time to make it easier for me to bring equipment up into this part of the garden, use the compost area. The growing area, really, I've only got 3-4 big beds which are like 7 foot by 2 foot. The remainder of the walkways and areas, I'm just making it so that it's easily accessible. I've got a wood chip in one of them. I'm going to lay some old vintage bricks in a few of them and see how that fits into the whole self-sufficient homesteading environment. I'm thinking about chickens, maybe ducks, maybe a duck pond. I've got enough space here to be able to put a cabin, have a duck area, have a chicken area, which will help with the composting element of the homesteading and making it more self-sufficient, and potentially meat for consumption. There's rabbits are an idea. I've saw quite a lot about rabbits as well, so let me know in the comments if you've got live animals and which pets you keep, and which benefit the garden to kind of loop around the full process of creating compost from the manure basically, so you don't have to bring stuff from outside. And if I got a cabin here, I'll have a little bit of a roof section where I'll collect the rainwater, and I've got water as well on demand, which is kept there. So after a couple of days worth of putting bricks and broken stuff down, you can see we've got to a point now, we've got a nice curvature, but the goal is to have a lot of this area covered. So you can see here at this point I've got like more stones than bricks, but you can easily get a wheelbarrow, you can get a trolley and slide it up here, whereas before I was really struggling because of the hill and the mud was just horrendous. So right now we've got this nice, easy, accessible location as part of the top garden, the homesteading growing area for all my vegetables, fruits. I've got some trees going. I've already harvested radish, strawberries, and all sorts of fun delights. And you can see a wheelbarrow will easily work here as well as having 2 easy access to the top of the garden. So overall it's been very interesting to make this process where I'm basically making the garden into its own little allotment area, growing space. It needs to be self-sufficient. I don't want to have to bring in too many outsourced things to keep the garden going. So I talked about the compost, where I'm going to be mulching and using the existing stuff I've got in the garden, bringing in some horse manure from a friend's horse pony stables, and that's kind of giving me some elements where I can start growing a lot more. If I get my own poultry, then that could potentially do a lot of this for me. So you'll see the bricks look quite interesting. They're not totally flat. I might revisit this because I'm not sure what I want to do with the bricks, but for now I've put them in between the garden beds, and you can see I'm growing some sunflowers. There's a lot of birds that come to the garden, so I want to be able to give them something to eat from the garden. So I've put like 20 or 30 sunflower plants up along the top bed behind me here where the long bed was. I've got some zucchini plants, I've got some climbing beans, I've got strawberries, I've got lettuce, I've got radish, all of those little things that I'm putting together to see how well this goes, and making it so that it's easy to maintain and I can get into each bed comfortably. So overall it's doing well. We're coming to a point now where I've got the garden laid out, I've got a lot of the paving in place. You'd be surprised how many broken bits of paving you actually need. I thought I had enough, but halfway through I noticed that there was more in the garden area when I was digging up the beds. So people must have been over the years burying them or something. So I've taken a lot of these out from the ground. Under the compost, I didn't want there to be too many joins here, because when I sift the compost or get compost out, that will drop into the gaps and create a bit of a mess. So I put bigger slabs here. You've got the water butts behind me there, which store the water from the rain of the building, which I haven't shown you there, but in a future episode you'll see an amazing whole door experience of outbuilding shed that I'm going to be making. So maybe stay tuned and subscribe if you're not already, to get that notification for that new video. It's going to be something outside the norm that I'm going to be making. I'm hoping you're finding this interesting and intriguing to follow along. Let me know in the comments what you think about this, and on screen you'll see another video as part of my series of homesteading and being self-sufficient. So I'll see you on that episode.